Last week, I realised why my Messor colony wasn't really doing that well. If you haven't seen that video, go see it, because this video won't really make too much sense. So today, I'm going to be moving them into a new setup, where hopefully they'll thrive, or at least thrive more than they were. It's just going to be a simple tubs and tubes setup, because I don't really have any sort of fancy gear for this size of colony, and that's fine. Not necessarily having a shop bought nest doesn't make the setup any worse. Just looking at some of the stuff that AntScapes is doing, that's clearly superior than the average beginner ant keeper who just gets the nest, doesn't even hydrate right. It's all about how you maintain the setup rather than the setup itself, if I'm honest. Anyway, here's a talcum barrier tub I made earlier. Let's add in a mix of sands and cocoa fiber. I made 3 test tubes, all with roughly the same amount of water, because I want them to all run out at the same time so I can replace them all at the same time, rather than running out like a month in between and having to I'm too lazy to make individual test tubes. And some grass seeds, which I collected this summer, and some shop-bought seed mix, all of which are ground up in a pestle and mortar to make it easier for the ants to make ant bread out of. Even if your colony has majors, it can be very helpful to pre-crush your seeds just a little bit. I put those seeds on some wax paper. The ant kit ant home plus ant kit acrylic nest doesn't fit into the setup because it's too long, so I just broke off the acrylic nest and put them in separately. I decided that it would be beneficial to the colony to move out of their ant home and ant kit acrylic nest as soon as possible, so I unplugged the test tube from the ant home, and sure enough, a load of workers and majors came out. It's really incredible seeing just how many workers are out and about. Currently, the test tubes that they're supposed to move into are uncovered, which isn't really the best because I want to film this, and if I have my filming light, then they won't really want to move out into the test tubes because they're in the light, whereas the test tube that they're in is covered by the ant home. So I just tore my phone in half and used that to cover the test tubes. If you don't have a spare phone on hand to rip into half and place on top of the test tubes, you could use anything that would block out the light. For example, a spare tablet that you could rip in half. Let's give these ants some mealworms. Not only will this nourish the colony, but this will also tell them that the new setup that they've been moved into is plentiful. It has food for them to forage and get, so that makes their little ant brains think that, oh, there might also be water and the Biformica liquid feeder and seeds and nesting space to move into. Just think to yourself, if you woke up in a box with food, you'd feel better about being in that box than if you woke up in a box and there was nothing there. No food, no water. I really love the red bicolor coloration that you see on some of these ants, specifically on the majors, though the queen has it too. I wonder what it is in the ants' genetics that means that workers don't get the red heads the same way majors do. The ants have taken a few seeds back to the nest and also covered the seed pile in a bit of cocoa fiber for some reason. And they've drained the entire Biformica liquid feeder that I gave them. So I stole the one from my Lasius niger colony since they weren't really drinking from it that much and gave it to them. Let's have a look at the setup the next morning. Taking off the old phone half, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole colony. You can see some eggs and some seeds that they've taken back, and even what I think looks like some ant bread that they're chewing, which is a good sign. It means that the hydration in their test tube setup is right, which is the whole point of them being moved into a new setup. And also it shows that the brood and majors will now be getting a good protein source. I took the ant kit ant home out and the ant kit acrylic nest out. I don't think this colony will really grow that much across hibernation or not hibernation. I've heard it's called diapause as well in Messor. Now let's go over to my Campanota nigricus colony. About a week ago, I decided that it was a good idea to put some water in their setup just to see how they would react. I thought that they would maybe just dig around cleanly, all nice. No, These ants have put cocoa fiber up on the walls of the outworld. They've put it on the lid. It's just looking like a bit of a mess now. Luckily, I don't think this colony will really be in this setup for that much longer. I think by Christmas, I'll probably be doing that vivarium build for them. However, as I thought, the Camponotus nicobrentis are digging around in the soil, which is a plus. They've moved so much eggs and workers out into the outworld that it kind of makes the nest that they're in look empty. Thank you for watching this video. We're really close to 500 now, which I don't think I ever really imagined I'd be in the position of being, you know, just on the cusp of getting 500 subscribers. I imagined it would happen at some point, but not as quickly as it has happened, and not with as much support from the wider community. Like on my desk I have this, which is a note from Aesthetic Ants that says he's subscribed to me, and just the comments and people saying that they enjoy my videos, really, that they really make the whole thing worth it. So thank you. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, then like and subscribe. If you didn't, then don't, and I'll see you in the next video. What even was that, man?